Providing the salt on Rock Bottom Avenue and Basement Boulevard. This is Cellar County. Butch and Coffee here, and I want to die.
I am one step closer to full-blown alcoholism after one of these games. Anyway, yes, it's Cellar County with your two favorite salty sports fans.
Everyone outside of Florida and Kansas City is salty as fuck right now.
Well, I know a few people. I know a few people in Chicago that are actually happy about this. I actually am just not happy with the way it went down.
A certain family member wants a certain number 12 jersey. And I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Oh god, yeah. We're gonna have a talk with him one day.
I want to say.
Anyway,
I want to say. Can I say one thing
before we dive in? Go ahead.
I am pissed off at all the people that said Tampa Bay was going to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season when Brady went to Tampa Bay, and how right they might be if he wins it all. The fact that they even have gotten here to this point is already making my skeleton want to shoot out of my mouth. They win, my skeleton is going down to Woodward and is going to dance its way over to Canada. Because holy shit, people are going to get so fucking salty around here.
If they win, to anyone who's possibly listening, please donate part of your liver. Because I will literally lose all function of my liver if he ends up winning.
It literally feels like the bad guys winning at the end. It feels like the bad guys killing off the main character. The scenario you don't want to happen is a realistic possibility.
You know what this almost feels like? Only it took a year longer. When LeBron James went to LA, everyone said LA's gonna win the title first year. And I'm like, bullshit, it's gonna take them 2, maybe 3 years. And guess what? They didn't even make the playoffs that first year. They did end up winning the title, but
that first year was magical in LA. That first year was magical. I thought the dysfunction was going to kill LeBron.
That's where I thought. That's where I thought. To all people who thought this is going to change LA.
Yeah, and now this shit. Well, a year after Brady gets his ass handed to him by Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans, Brady has somehow found the magic in Tampa, and they're back in the Super Bowl. But how did these two particular teams get in here?
Okay,
we're gonna dive into the game.
Okay, let's start with a few things about the game. It was a pretty good game. It was a pretty good game. Very handsy game for the first 3 quarters. Wouldn't you agree?
That's where you're gonna go with handsy.
We're getting there, folks. We will get there. Yes, it was a pretty handsy game.
At least it was close.
And let me just say this before we get to the end. If it just stayed that way the whole game and Bray won, I would not be as mad. But there are certain events that made me want to maybe want a little take a trip down to the loony bin. Because I lost my shit at this. But anyway, continue.
The Green Bay Packers epitomize a team that has a future Hall of Fame quarterback that they're literally wasting his career, and then you do the dumbest thing and draft his successor, and now you got him so pissed off he may actually leave the tundra after this season. Congratulations, Green Bay. You have officially wasted Aaron Rodgers' career. And by the way, what the fuck was Matt LaFleur thinking on that fucking fourth?
Let's get to that. Let's talk about this for a second. I actually want to take you to the play before that one, where it's third and goal. And Aaron Rodgers takes a snap, looking for a guy, has to scramble, and he goes past the neutral zone. He passes the line. Not really passing the line, but
he's there.
But he's there, and he throws the ball. Now, if you see it on TV for the first time, you're thinking, okay, something may happen, and he just didn't do a good throw. Then they show replay, and they move the camera about 90 degrees so it's behind him. And then I see he's got not only got a hole, he's got probably 2 clear routes to the end zone. And he throws it. I'm like, I saw it, I thought, what the fuck are you thinking?
I don't think in this scenario, and this was most quarterbacks because I know passing only is becoming less and less common. They are now looking for well-balanced quarterbacks that will also run. I don't know if I don't know if Rodgers would run. I really don't know how comfortable he
I would
is.
say, given the situation, you're down by 8. You're down by 8. You're right on the goal line, and you only have about 2.5 minutes left at that point. I would fucking run that. I would run that.
Why? But then the play everyone's talking about and why we're here right now.
Yes. Outside of that small brain fart, if you could. Now, there was actually a quote that made me laugh. But let's talk about. Okay, so it's 4th and goal, and you're down by 8. Still some time left on the clock. So you could make the argument that, okay, we get a stop, we get the ball back, and still have enough time to go. But you're still at the goal line. So before we say what happened, Butch, what would you do in that case? What play would you run?
If they're doing, let's see, 4th and goal. I mean, you would definitely have to do a pass play. I would run like a post to the corners and have Rodgers, who is an excellent passer, lob a ball up, try to get to the back of the end zone, like the corner, and try to get the receiver to jump up and put his feet down on the edge. Or you try to get him to jump off sides if you have a timeout.
Which they did.
You should do that. I mean, I know it wasn't favorable. You're 8 yards away. It's 4th and goal. You want points, which I can understand that with Matt. I can understand in a way what Matt LaFleur was thinking, but this is Tampa Bay. They've been running all over your defense. Considering you didn't do shit when Baby threw 3 freaking picks. He threw 3 in a row and he only got 6 fucking points out of that. What the hell are you thinking? Go for it. If anything, you pin them deep. And there's still time on the clock. There's still time.
All right.
And no, they fuck up.
Okay.
They royally fuck up.
Okay. I would said, at the very least, I would try to run a sweep. Because at the very least, best case scenario, you get in the end zone. You get that touchdown. Worst case, you pin them even closer to the goal line. If you have the right blocking, you pin them closer to the goal line. Have to make them, because on turnover downs, you have to make them start so close to a safety. It's almost like just go for it. But
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Am I nuts to be pissed off that the Packers lost, considering we're both? I'm a Lions fan. You're a Bears fan. Are you salty about the Packers losing to the Bucks, or is a secret part of you excited that they lost?
I actually would have been again, as I said earlier, I would have been indifferent from the loss if it wasn't for a certain event that happened after. Well, let's just say, spoilers, folks. They kicked a field goal. Instead of going for it, they kicked a field goal. And LaFleur could defend this all he wants, but at this situation, you don't kick a fucking field goal.
No.
All right.
And then comes another boneheaded moment.
Another boneheaded moment, courtesy of your favorite sport.
Refball.
All right. So let's explain this. There was one play. I'm not. Again, I'm slightly drunk right now, folks, so I don't remember full details at the moment. But I do know this. It was 3rd down, I believe. Brady takes a pass up the middle, and let me be fair. Let me be fair for something. Was it okay? And after the play happened, the refs took a second. Then every ref is throwing their flags, signaling pass interference. Now, here's what makes me mad. Was it actually pass interference? Yes, it was. But the fact is, you let that shit go all game. All game. How many times? There was an interception where you can clearly see pass interference off the interception, and they didn't call it. And it's like, oh, now you want to call this. Now at this moment, when it's Tom fucking Brady, now you want to call this shit? Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck every ref that worked that game. It's like if you have called that all the pass interferences from the whole game and then call that one, that would have been fine. I would have understood that. But don't tell me. I'm sorry. Don't tell me that for 99% of the game, when it happens, you're like, oh, we're just gonna let the play, and now you want to call it.
It speaks a lot for itself when Refball is being argued as the main culprit for a team's significant loss. We saw in 18, and we potentially witnessed it again with the Packers.
Yes.
To Aaron Rodgers, I have to say, I have to raise a glass and say, it's been a ride.
To Aaron Rodgers,
enjoy your throne that you built on top of the NFC North and watch it crumble as you leave.
All I gotta say is to Aaron Rodgers, you are like Ben. You're like Big Ben. You should have got way more. You should have had more Super Bowls, more victories. But hey, I'm not gonna argue. You're a fucking beast. I'm not gonna argue that. You kicked our ass so many times that
you own the Lions. You literally own 4
You are public enemy number 1 Chicago, and you know what? You deserve that because you destroyed many of Bears fans' hopes and dreams.
He came in after Favre and won a Super Bowl. Let that sit in your mind. Green Bay has had back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks. What team could say that? Back-to-back Hall of Fame QBs.
And
they also brought a title to your city, hence Title Town being the aforementioned example, because Green Bay is the literal original team of the NFL right now. Also, we got to see one more thing that we didn't talk about, and I'm surprised he didn't bring this up at first. We saw a Hail Mary! It wasn't really a Hail Mary, but it's still a Hail Mary!
Let's also point out
Way to go! That Hail Mary doesn't happen, this outcome of the game may have been a whole lot different.
Well, let's also remember how we got to that Hail Mary.
Man, you are drunk.
Let's put it this way. Let's just say you for years have complained about Refball fucking over your Lions. You have made that complaint for years, Butch.
Because it does.
It does. That's the thing. It does. This is the one time where I feel like with all that's going on, the NFL. Remember how the Saints got screwed off of a pass interference and that whole protest on that?
Mm-hmm.
This is the exact same thing.
Oh,
well, I would say it's the same thing because yes, it was pass interference, but you can't let that shit go all game, and now you want to call it. That's like imagine if let's say it was a Game 7 NBA Finals and you had the Lakers and the Heat playing, and for the whole game they were bumping, they were hitting, they were smacking, and then all of a sudden during the game, when it's 2 minutes left in the game and LeBron James goes out and gets smacked, the same smack that happened the whole game, you want to call foul now. Now you want to call that foul. When you let that shit go all game, and now you want to call that foul.
We are not making the argument that the NFL is rigged. But there's probably a good chance that it is.
I'm not making the argument that the NFL is rigged, but I am making the argument that the NFL referees are the worst fucking referees in any sport.
Yeah, outside of an incident 02 with the Tim Donaghy and the
outside of him and outside the NCAA refs during tournament time.
Yes.
Yeah, the NFL refs are the worst refs in the world. Like to anyone who wants to be a referee in the NFL, I applaud you, but just so you know, you're gonna go through a lot of shit. You're gonna go through a lot of shit because you may be a good ref, but the rest of your peers are dog shit. No, let me get let me go a
It
little.
only takes
Let me do a little.
only
Let me do a little James Rolfe here. Let me go a little AVGN. You guys are doggy diarrhea that's stored in a bag, microwave, and then poured on spaghetti.
all
I know.
right.
I put that disgusting image in your head, but that's
Thanks for the
exactly.
picture, Compy. Oh
Uh,
God.
I might as
Well,
well
we
be
have one team.
the angry football nerd at this point.
As much as
Only
we
not
may
as
not
charming.
agree with Tom Brady and the Bucks getting in, they got their ticket punched. They're going to Tampa. The other game on the docket
Yeah.
was
Before we move on, Butch, you want to say anything else about this game?
my comments
Any
about
our
Tom
last
Brady.
word?
My comments about Tom Brady still stand, and as much as I hate to say it, I mean it's kind of cool to see a team like Tampa that hasn't been in the playoffs in 7 years, and they haven't won it since '02. So we'll see what happens. We're about to have a home Super Bowl for the first time since 1985.
All right.
How nuts is that?
All right. I got two things I do want to add to Tampa Bay. Even with the bullshit that was this game, I congratulate you. You now have the ultimate home field advantage. Don't. Part of me wants to say, don't screw it up. The other thing is that the other thing I do want to say is Aaron Rodgers, despite all this shit, at least you're going to host Jeopardy at some point. So there's something great you have going for you.
Yeah, he has that at least hold on to as the flames encircle him.
All right, so now let's move on to the next game, the AFC Championship.
Chiefs and the
This
Bills.
went exactly like I thought it was gonna go, and that the Chiefs
Not
are just fucking unbeatable.
Not really much of a surprise here as the Bills ultimately capitulate just short of the Super Bowl. But this team has nothing to be frustrated
No,
about
the
or nothing to be sad
Bills,
about.
you deserve to have your head held high for all this because let's be fair, beginning of the season, no one really thought you were gonna make it this far.
Outside of Ron Rivera with the Washington Deadskins, I think Sean McDermott should have Coach of the Year.
I would agree with that.
Because he turned the Bills team around. He claimed the AFC East. He finally vanquished the Patriots dynasty over that division. And he got two good wins in the playoffs. Let's be fair. I mean, this Bills team, yeah, it was a little lopsided, but they put up a good fight. You got to give Josh Allen that. You just wonder what's missing in order for them to get above the boogeyman that is the Chiefs.
Probably defense because if the Chiefs are dropping 38 points, if they can drop 21 points in the quarter, you have some holes in your defense.
I will say this, if they revamp their defense in the offseason, I could see them making it back here and maybe even getting the Super Bowl.
They are probably the second best, if we go into next season, they're probably the second most likely team to win the AFC Championship just from now.
Yep, and the team in front of them that they have to beat is the team they lost to on Sunday.
The team that also had problems with the Patriots for a year, but
Holy smokes. Patrick Mahomes, if I was to put a back-to-back Super Bowl winner, I didn't see it happening with the Chiefs. But they proved a lot of naysayers wrong. They are back. They look as good as they did last year, albeit a few pieces missing from their defense that did win them the Super Bowl last year. This team looks rounded out, and it looks like it's about to take names in Tampa. They definitely showed it against the Bills.
This is the. I said I think last week that no matter what happens, it was going to be a member of the old guard of the early 10s of the NFL up against the up and coming new guys. And guess what? We're getting that. We're getting that in the baby goat versus one of the goats.
He is the GOAT because he wins in 2 Sundays. He'll have his 7th ring. He'll have more than any team in the NFL. Think about that. He'll have more than any team in existence. Modern era. I'm not going to go, all time because then Green Bay has 11. But I'm talking about Super Bowls. Steelers having 6, and the 49ers have 6. Yes, 49ers have 6. Brady will have 7. And he's just an individual. He's not a team that racks in billions of dollars. Tom Brady is a fitness guru with a hot ass fucking wife that has 7 rings, 5 for his fingers, and 2 for his big toes. If everything comes his way in 2 Sundays, this game will be this game being in a COVID year. It is disappointing that we're not going to have a full stadium at Tampa. And Raymond James, for its age, is actually one of the better arenas that can really host a Super Bowl.
It almost hosted a
Open
It almost
air.
hosted a WrestleMania. Let's also add that to the mix.
It's open air. I have been here. No seat in the stadium is really a bad seat. Even the upper deck seats, you still have a good view of the stadium. And this is literally, you got downtown Tampa not too far away. If this was a pre-COVID year, you'd have Ybor City literally brimmed up with fucking Bucks fans and Chiefs fans. I mean, this would be an all-out gala. Yes, this is a COVID year, and I think it's cool that the NFL's doing. A lot of the tickets are going to hospital workers in the area. I think they have about 7,000 from a hospital in nearby Sarasota going. I think that's great. I think this is a really good move by the NFL to really honor our first responders that have put their lives on the line over this past year to fight this goddamn pandemic.
All right. Let's get back to the Bill. Let's get back to the Bills and Chiefs game.
I expect fireworks.
Like I said, this game went exactly how I expected it to go. My only real issue with the game was, well, really nothing. I would say it went exactly how I planned it. I did lose some money on it, but it went pretty.
How?
Over
Let me
under.
ask.
The over under.
Oh. See, I was gonna do that, but I got hesitant and kind of waited.
I hesitated because I thought, this is Patrick Mahomes coming off a concussion. So I thought, okay, he's not going to be 100%. But then he gets in the game and it's like, what concussion? Went in and just tore up.
He played pretty good for coming off of that scary hit.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was a part of me that was like, I wouldn't say this team was beatable, but I mean, you could be questioning like how the Chiefs were going to respond going into the week after that near scare against the Browns. You have to protect your key asset, because if you do this against the Bucks, I don't know if Chad Henne could pull off his magic and get you to a win like he did against the Browns. Chad Henne did just enough to get that win.
We've seen miracles happen in the NFL before, so if it does happen, I would not be surprised.
I'm not saying the NFL's rough and tough like it used to be back in the day, but you know the Bucks are going to aim for Mahomes' head. I'm not going to, quote unquote, say it like that, but you know they're definitely going to put pressure on Mahomes.
Well, it's Super Bowl. If you're not going for the QB's head, then what are you doing there?
Very, very true. You could be like Big Ben not diving for the ball. We did witness that a couple of years ago with Cam. Hopefully we won't have any of that controversy going on. But to the big game itself, in 2 weeks in Tampa Bay, we got the Buccaneers, quote-unquote, hosting the Chiefs. What do you expect?
If what I expect or what I want to happen, that's 2 different things.
I expect a shootout. I expect each team to put up at least 28 points. I think both of these defenses are going to get torched.
I want it to be a real shootout, but I think what I expect to happen is it's going to be a close shootout in the first half, and then the second half, one team's just gonna find that groove and just pull away.
Keep going.
Yep, and
they're just gonna
pull away.
Pile it up.
Like ideally, I want something similar to what happened with New England and Philadelphia, where it was just let's just fight this whole game, and it literally will come down to the last possession. But the Eagles Patriots, that was a high scoring affair.
It was.
Where
And
another
we
comparable
had
game, New England versus New York, that was actually on the lower end. I actually want it to be like a shootout where I expect this game to go past 70 points. Or at least I want it to go past 70 points.
That would be an ideal Super Bowl right there.
All right.
Either way, however,
we will have more Super Bowl talk when we do our predictions next week and talk a little bit more about the scope of the whole season. And we also have one more thing to do about the whole season. We have to pay up on our bets. We have to drink Everclear for the Jets wins.
Oh my God. I'm not looking forward to that moment.
Nah.
All I want to say about the Super Bowl, I'm not making a prediction, but either way, in my opinion, this is going to hurt my soul because we're either going to have a back-to-back Super Bowl winner or a man create possibly a new dynasty in Tampa with a 7th Super Bowl ring. So no matter what, nobody wins, or at least Butch doesn't win.
I won't win either. Because then we'll have endless talks about the goats. We'll have every channel be a story about who's the goat, who's the goat, who's the goat after all this. I'm like, can we just shut the fuck up about goats for a minute?
After the Super Bowl, let's just say all the roads in Cellar County are about to be salted. We're about to be a salt mining operation after Sunday's game. We will see what happens, but we must get on to other news outside of the football landscape.
Let's go baseball. Yeah.
We are opening up a new glass for this one, folks.
Yep.
For the first time since 1960, nobody's getting into the Hall of Fame this year. The closest anyone came to voting was marred in controversy. Curt Schilling got 71% of the vote when you need 75% to get in, and he is requested off the ballot for his final year of eligibility. Now, if you're wondering why that is, and if you do not follow politics,
if you basically have not focused on any social media in the past year,
Curt Schilling is a very avid Donald Trump supporter.
He's in love with the orange Cheeto.
I will say this right now for a reason of sanity. There is nothing wrong if you're on the left or the right.
There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you behave in a respectful manner and not like those assholes at the Capitol.
There was some comments made over time, some of which were not taken into retrospect until after the votes were in, and this is pertaining to the events that happened at the Capitol on the 6th. A good chunk of the media was calling for Schilling not to get in because they want to talk about his character rather than his stats. What I will argue is the baseball writers should be focusing on his stats and not on his person after the game. Because this is the same Hall of Fame that has Ty fucking Cobb in the golden class of 1936, and he is one of the most bigoted pieces of shit in all the land. Schilling made some statements, yes, that might be controversial, but Ty Cobb beat up a groundskeeper and then beat up his wife when he tried to help him. Ty Cobb openly did not want to shake hands with black people. You are trying to go against statements made by him about a particular president, but you have a man in that was a notorious racist.
Remember, this was 1936 when he got in, so
get the fuck out. I'm sorry. I fucking hate cancel culture. If it was up to me, Curt Schilling should be in.
If it was up
the bloody sock.
I just want to say that did his little social media incident affect his chances? I would say it definitely didn't help, but him getting in, this was his eighth year in. Ninth year on the ballot. So if he wasn't gonna get in the first 8 years, he's really not gonna get in.
His comments would hurt him.
Yeah, his comments didn't help, but I still felt like I don't think he was going to get in.
The Capitol comments didn't happen until after the baseball writers were done voting on it on the 31st. What had he stayed in to be eligible? I guarantee you we got a lot less than 71%. I guarantee you a lot of those baseball writers would have held it against him for what he said about the Capitol riots.
I don't know.
Which
This is baseball. I don't know how much politics would really go into what the old
there is
voters.
a lot of ex-baseball writers that did vote that say they wouldn't have voted for Schilling if they were still in. And they're even calling after the riots on the 6th and saying Schilling should get in the Hall of Fame altogether. That's pretty fucked up. What is not fucked up, however, is Barry Bonds and one other notable PED user are about to be on their last years of eligibility, and they're only at 60%. Is will they get more votes next year, and will we see a PED user get into the Hall of Fame? I hope not. I would not. We just had a discussion on Hank Aaron, which you will hear later and on a separate podcast.
It's probably gonna go up before this one. Let's be fair.
I do not care for Barry Bonds. I would rather not see him in the Hall of Fame because I'll be honest, anyone that uses PEDs should not be honored in the Hall of Fame. If my favorite all-time player, Miguel Cabrera, came out today and said he did steroids, I would stop watching baseball, and I would never want to even step foot near Cooperstown. The fact that these fuckers are even getting votes is despicable. The baseball writers should be ashamed for themselves for even voting in these pieces of shit. Even if it was just a minor use, it's still a black ball. It's still black out of baseball. You literally have the all-time record, one of the most attainable and wanted records in all the land, tarnished because of one man's reputation and legacy to use steroids and use performance-enhancing drugs. In the America I grew up in, everything's done natural. Hank Aaron did it natural. Babe Ruth did it natural. Barry Bonds cannot have done it natural. He used PEDs to jack himself up and get that home run record. Right. And he should not step foot in Cooperstown at all. If they vote him in next year, I will be disgusted.
I would, this is probably where I'm going to piss off some people, but if Bonds does somehow gets in, I would be a bit disturbed, but I would say, look at his impact in the sport of baseball, and I think, okay, maybe that's justifiable enough. Because here's something that I still don't like saying, but it's fact. Barry Bonds still hit all those home runs. Yes, he did it with steroids, but the point is, he still hit the home runs. He still put up the numbers. He didn't do it naturally, but the fact is, those numbers are still written down somewhere. They're not the official record to all of baseball, but the fact is that number still is in the record books. It's still written down. If you were to go on those numbers alone, he should get in. But he's not going to. But if he does, I wouldn't be, it's not the end of the world for me.
What will this say when he doesn't get into the Hall of Fame?
It will be what I will say is that will be the floodgate for everyone else who does PEDs now and in the future. If they can put up the numbers, there's a case for them to get in. If Bonds gets in. Or Clemens.
It is interesting.
I mean, Sosa's still on the ballot. Sosa should be, this is his 9th year? Sosa's got one more year?
I think so. I have to double check.
I'm looking. Yeah, this was Sosa's 9th year too.
All three of them will be out by next year, if none of them are voted in. Schilling did make, and this is the last thing I want to talk about. Schilling did say he wants to leave it up to the veteran writers, so the writers that aren't associated with this particular vote, but the alumni or whatnot. It's harder to make a case to get in once you go past your eligibility, but I get what he's saying because he wants them to judge him just based on him as a player and not him overall as a character.
Which would be a fair assessment.
I could see what that implies is they could look at Barry Bonds and say, oh, well, he was a good player. yeah, his character was a little bit tarnished by his steroid use, but I think everyone deserves a second chance. My fear would be he doesn't get in with his eligibility, but the Veterans Association votes him in. And that's what would scare me about all this. And is there anything else you would like to address while we're here?
On this,
Yeah, before we move on.
um, first off, as much as Kurt can request, I don't think he's getting off that ballot. I think he's still going to be on that ballot next year anyway. As for whether or not he gets in, I can't say.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. I can't say. I can't say for a lot of these guys if they're going to be on the ballot, because who's going to be eligible next year? Do you know?
I'd have to double check.
Yeah, because I would say come next year or maybe the year after that, there's going to be a huge. There's probably going to be
Alex Rodriguez and David Ortiz are among the big names
that are going to be official starting next year.
Yep.
Okay, you can
and
make
Jimmy
okay.
Rohn.
Okay, could you imagine the case for A? Could you imagine all the controversy A-Rod got in and Bonds didn't?
Yeah, I I stand by where I stand by on anyone that uses PEDs.
All right, all right. Moving on.
We have okay. I want to talk about one thing real fast, if you're okay with it, and it may not be too well known for you. It does have to do with COVID. The COVID UK strain was discovered at the University of Michigan, and the university has shut down all athletics for 2 weeks, everything. And one of the notable sports that got shut down was basketball. Michigan has a very good basketball team this season. And one of the things I was kind of shocked by is they're ranked in the top 10. This past weekend, the rankings came out, and Michigan actually moved up a spot or two despite not playing any games for, I think it was like 4 or 5 days. I want to get your opinion on that.
How many games were canceled
Because
between when the rankings were released and them closing the university down?
how
many games
let's see here.
How many games were canceled?
It's not okay. So right now I'm looking at the schedule, and just on here they have the last game they played against Purdue, and then it skips over to when they're supposed to be going back to normal, and that would be on the 11th next month against Illinois. Let me look into this, but let me get your opinion first.
I would say, given the fact that they didn't miss that many games, you could still make the case that they deserve votes, even though they didn't play anything, because it's like, imagine if
the last game was played on Friday, January 22nd against Purdue. They're supposed to be playing a game today. It got postponed. They got 4 games postponed, including one against State. As of right now, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at 4 games postponed as of right now. This does not have the same significance as college football with only playing a certain amount of games in a season. But my question is, in terms of rankings, shouldn't that directly impact their ranking because they're not playing games?
It should if
they're taking a high.
This is the one thing that is kind of weird about the college rankings in terms of, especially in football, in terms of basketball and all that, is that these rankings are determined not just by the amount of games you played, who you played against. Because we ran into a situation in football where a team could go undefeated but still won't get anywhere in the playoff because of bullshit in the committee and the fact they didn't play tough opponents. I feel like the case with this, yes, Michigan did not play any games. Did they deserve to get any votes? Yeah, they should still get votes. It's like, imagine if you did the same thing in the NBA. Even though everyone plays the same amount of games in the NBA, and there's going to be times where a team can play 4 games in a week, and another team may only play like 2 or 3. They're still going to get votes regardless. I'm trying to say this. The best way for me to say this is that Does Michigan still deserve votes? Yes, based off the team they had, yes, they should still get votes. Do they deserve to move up? That's not for me to decide. I would say no. I would say they should be frozen. I should say at the very least they should drop a bit. But I'm looking at the rankings right. I'm looking at the rankings right now. They did move, and plus you gotta realize they evaluate this from the 18th to the 25th.
Yeah,
they evaluate from within that window, so they were playing games then.
It will move down, definitely coming up.
Yeah. Next week they will definitely move down, and
it will move down even further after 2 weeks. This
is the other thing I was gonna say about the NCAA rankings is that, unlike football, these rankings don't have any real bearing on what seed or what position you get in the tournament. They really don't. If you think about it, they really don't have any bearing on that.
It's more on where they are for the conference tournament.
So if Michigan does play in the conference tournament and they do well, they could not even be ranked, and they could probably get like a top 4 seed at that.
The biggest thing right now is with something like the new strain, you just hope everyone's safe. Like I said, Michigan was in the right to postpone all athletics for 2 weeks, and the university as a whole has told all students to stay off campus and remain at home until February, when this 2-week quarantine, so to speak, is lifted.
All right.
So the university as a whole did a really good job with this.
I would say this would be the right move, and it should also force the NCAA to look at other protocols in case another situation like this happens.
Because let's be honest, we're probably going to have another incident like this in due time. But
the end goal for basketball this year is you want to have the tournament. You definitely want to have the tournament.
You don't want last year to happen.
And thank God it's all going to be at one location. It's all going to be in Indianapolis. Yeah, basically, the Indianapolis region. Yes, it's going to be there.
Outside of Purdue and Bloomington, everything's supposed to be Indianapolis Metro, which I think is actually pretty cool and good homage to Cathedral of Basketball, aka the great state of Indiana. Go Hoosiers.
I would say even after this pandemic, they should probably look into doing more stuff like this. Like the College World Series I think
it'd be cool if Indianapolis hosted every year. I think that would be awesome. They did it at Yankee Fieldhouse.
I actually like the idea of the 4-stadium rotation they have going on now. I actually do like that idea. But they should only keep it to 4 stadiums. They shouldn't go outside that window.
For the national game or just for the tournament as a whole?
For now,
instead of going
in this terms,
it's weird when they go to it's weird when you have your team go to like Spokane or some out of the wall town in like California. You just wonder why they're not more centrally located.
I would say
for the tournament.
I would say ideally for a future situation, I don't see them hosting like the Final Four at the main location being very viable, but doing like the Sweet 16 onward at the main location would be pretty freaking sweet.
I think that would be a good idea.
Or at the very least, keep it within that region. Like if they go Houston next. If they go Houston, wait, who do they go to next year? Who hosts the tournament next year?
Rumor is the NCAA is looking into this going forward.
Okay, so supposedly next year it will be at the Superdome.
Ooh.
So I would say maybe do the Sweet 16 in a lot of schools within that region.
What stadiums do you really have outside LSU? You'd have to move out of state.
You still have a few colleges you can really go to.
Yeah, but you're talking more like Tulane. Like you're talking like smaller schools.
They don't have to be like nationally recognized schools. They could just be schools in the area. It's better than going to. They had 1 year. They went to school nobody ever freaking heard of. No one even realized D1. They said, this is a good year to put a tournament game there.
See, my question is, do you want to give the game back to Atlanta? Because Atlanta was supposed to host it last year.
I would
when
I would say you move the rotation around. You could shift the rotation around, give Atlanta another shot a few years down. Give whatever if Atlanta has another spot, maybe bump them up a year or two.
you should put them back in the rotation because I'm sure Atlanta is still kind of fuming about not being able to host it, and they definitely deserve to get it back. If they do make it like kind of like back to normal and whatnot, I would say the same city should host, but they might look into a format of maybe trying to keep it more centrally located, like we were talking about earlier. So we'll see what comes out of this brave new world. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about this evening?
Conor McGregor losing. That was kind of that was a surprise, and at the same time, it's like, well, not really.
He deserved it. I don't respect Conor McGregor the person. The boxer I might respect, but when you try to
you're talking about Mayweather, right?
oh McGregor,
You're talking McGregor the boxer is more respectful than McGregor the MMA fighter.
yeah. Why? I know I was referring to more of him as the person, like outside of him fighting.
You said
I'm talking
boxer.
about him going to.
You said boxer. That made me go. It's
No,
the
I'm
same
talking
fucking
about
guy.
him. No, I'm talking about him going to a bar and punching an old man for refusing sip of his
You're
whiskey.
on that. Yeah. That's a shitty.
The shit with throwing the phone over the fence.
The shit with smashing a fucking bus.
Yeah, that. Oh my god, dude.
He is the WWE equivalent of an MMA fighter. Which actually, given this loss, he might jump to WWE.
Jesus Christ.
I can imagine him, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre forming a team.
I was expecting him to lose, but not in the second round.
I'll be honest. I actually did have money in this, and I did lose, but my money was more someone's getting knocked the fuck out in the first round. That didn't happen.
Close.
They came close, but it didn't happen.
You came so close to that happening, dude. Oh my god,
that was when I saw the fight at like a small little bar when they were just showing the fight. Yes, I went outside for COVID. Sue me. I saw a small little bar. Wasn't that many people there because there was actually a limit and social distancing was in effect. So,
at least you guys had that option. Us here in Michigan are stupid.
So
I hate our governor.
So when I saw that when someone else got knocked out, I thought, okay, we're going to the second round. Either this is gonna go to distance or someone's getting knocked the fuck out. Surprise! Someone got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Down goes McGregor, and here goes the champion.
And it
wasn't really like hype. They just seemed
the hype was the whole hype was just McGregor's back. There was no. I couldn't find one other match on the selling that could sell me.
They seemed like the two really kind of respected each other because the weigh-in. I mean, it looked like they were having fun. Because it's not like the stereotypical stay in the face, and then you have like the entourage separate.
Here's my thing. If this was a normal world without COVID, I'm pretty sure there would be a little bit more shenanigans. But given the fact that this is COVID, there's not really an audience there. Conor McGregor had really no one to play this up for.
No.
At the very least, all he could do is trash talk. That's all he could do.
What does this mean for Dustin?
Has he won has he been in a title fight yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, let me look this up real quick. I don't know if he's ever been in like a title fight.
This was a rematch though from 2014.
Okay. He was the interim lightweight champion, but he lost the main fight.
Jeez.
So I wouldn't say this would really boost his stock back up to get into the title fight, but I should say people should now kind of take notice that he's still around the court. He could still probably make a. How old is he? He's 32. He's 32. So he's got possibly he could get another title fight, hopefully. But I would say he has to go through one more. See, now I gotta look up UFC lightweight rankings.
All right. I'm not dumb. What year did he fight? What year did he fight Mayweather in? Because it's not coming up.
McGregor?
Yeah. It's not coming up.
2006. I want to say 17. No,
I think it was
wait,
2018.
no. Shit. Yeah, 2017.
2017.
2017.
Yep, there it is. The money fight, the biggest fight in combat sports history.
And it was
It was a joke.
it was an exhibition. It was not a serious fucking fight.
No. All the hype that went into it though was hilarious.
All the hype that went into it was
The trash talking was so stupid.
I thought all the hype was hilarious because I like if you ever seen okay, I'm pretty sure we've all seen one Mayweather fight. He's known for yes, Mayweather has done shitty things and has been reportedly doing other shitty things. But when he gets in there, he knows how to work. He knows how to really make you tired and then go for the kill. Or
Right?
he'll just dance around you all night. Basically, he's one of the few people who can talk shit and really back it up. Sure, it's not flashy, but he can back up a lot of his fights.
Yeah. He definitely back up his style at least. It may not be the most
But I will say this about before we end the. You have anything else to say? Because I want to end this podcast. I do have one more thing to say.
Go ahead. You have the floor.
Yes, Mayweather is a showman. But I will say this: Mayweather may be a showman, but he's still a boxer. That's why I'm praying on February 20th he kills Logan Paul. He goes in there, makes Logan Paul tired, and then puts him flat on his back, looking at the lights, and that would be the greatest gift for me for 2021. It's just see Logan Paul face up, looking at the lights, and Mayweather standing over him.
Folks, you hear that? We have a murder call coming.
I would say a murder call. I would say a murder call. Like, no, I don't want. Despite my feelings on the guy, I don't want him to die. I just want him to fade away. Just leave the limelight and never come back. To all the fans that love him and say, "Oh my God, Logan and Jake Paul are best," I want them just to shut the fuck up.
You and me both, my friend.
I want to shut the fuck. I want basically stay over like, hey, just pull to, hey, shut the fuck up. That's all I want.
You and me both. Cellar County, this will do it for us.
I need another drink. See you guys next week. When we talk about something that's not football.
Oh no, the Pro Bowl!
Ah!